For those potential franchisees, I had a doctor just call us at the office a few weeks ago, and his response was, what is the next step, all right? And here's what we just want to sort of outline what the steps are to become a franchisee. First of all, number one, I tell my doctors, prospective doctors, I believe it's one of the best things you'll ever do, all right? We have the practice is one of the largest DPC practices in the nation, third or fourth largest in the country, and one of the most profitable. And we've done it in Kern County, which is one of the second poorest county in the state. So I can't guarantee you will be successful, but we know what works and what doesn't. And so we will teach you what we know to make what we've done so successful. The second thing, though, is the doctor asked, what's the next step? He's gone through everything, he's interested, where do we go from here? And here's what we tell our franchisees. We have partnered with SBC Small Business Corporation, it's a government agency. And make a long story short, the first thing that happens for the first step to become a franchisee is that you have to give us $1,000. It's not refundable, but what we do with that, we send in people from the Small Business Corporation, and they will essentially do a free assessment of your practice. They know our fiduciaries and what we've done, and they're going to answer two things. Number one, is your practice, is it going to make financial sense for you? All right, and we look at that as good news because we want you to know that someone outside says this is going to work or it's not going to work for your practice. Number two, many of our potential franchisees, their business model or their business finances are really not as good as they should be. And they have the ability, essentially a banker, an insurance agent, and another businessman are going to go over your fiducials and all of your financial reports. And they're going to look and see, number one, is this going to work for you? But more important than that is that they will also have the opportunity to help you get your house financially in order. If you need to consolidate some loans, if you need to, they have access to finance loans for doctors under 1%. I mean, just amazing things. So that's the two areas that we do. And after that $1,000 are paid, these people will come in, and then that $1,000 is essentially given to our people to go over those reports and look, is this financially going to work for you? All right? Because we want you to be very successful when you do it. And this is a way of sort of getting your financial house in order by some outside independent businessmen. And number two, outside independent business counsel they're looking at your practice and saying, yes, it's going to work financially for you. That's huge, because we don't have any say about what they're going to say. This is sort of like an independent audit of your financial situation to see, will it work? Because they know what we've done and what our numbers are, what's going to happen. And that is huge. So we look at it as a win-win. So that's the next step that you take. And once they look at that and that's all okay, then the next step is to signing some documents, which is actually a binder about that thick, that we recommend you go through. And essentially, when you're serious and you want to go through with it, and the financial area looks good and that is all set. Essentially what we do is you'll go through this binder, and what we recommend is for the next week, you take sort of part of it, a chapter every night, and read it through and then call us if you have any questions, so you know exactly what you're getting into. And then we will have, there's a 2-week waiting period after you've had it, and then you sign it, and then we go ahead with essentially setting up for the franchisee training and getting things on board for you. The other thing that's important, as we have some potential franchisees that are interested at this time, it's in August right now that we're cutting this video. We really, if you're interested and want to go ahead, you want to go ahead and have things set up for early fall so that, number one, you can get all the patients who are looking at open enrollment. You have to advertise to get them interested in signing up for your practice. Number two, there's another neat thing that a lot of people aren't aware, but from the insurance point of view, as of January 1, 2019, the individual mandate is gone. So people no longer have to buy insurance. And in the insurance industry, the feeling is that the DPC practice are just going to burgeon in opportunities for these doctors. So we encourage you to look at the franchise, all right? Because it's a good way of giving you a much better chance of doing extremely well. Thanks for listening.